Jackson Ross. When you guys are ready, to take questions.
Coach Eckler is really talking you up, and especially your ability to down punts inside the 5, the 6. How much is he pumping confidence in you and really talking you up?
I mean, yeah, it's always good to have a coach that backs you in. We've done a lot of that stuff, especially in the stadium and stuff of late. So just building on what I did towards the end of the last season, it's really given me confidence going into this season, and I feel like that's one of my best traits is downing punts deep.
What are some things that you really focused on to try to elevate your game even more?
I think for me, I've always known how to kick a football, so it's just been sort of confidence in playing. Obviously started the year a bit rough last year, but building form towards the end of the season has really put me in good stead, and had a really good camp and stuff like that, so I'm ready to go.
Is there a difference in like getting to a comfort level between practice field and stadium on game day?
I mean, yeah, you can do as much as you want in the practice field, but out there's different, obviously. You can't replicate that at practice as much, but we try to do as much as we can to do that, give them different rush looks and stuff, which definitely makes me more comfortable going to games.
So I guess you've been over here for about 2 years now. How much more comfortable are you just living in this area, American football classes, than you were maybe this time last year and especially 2 years ago?
Yeah, extremely. Got here 2 years to the day last week, so sort of got to reflect on some photos in my camera album and stuff like that, looking back when I came, and sort of realised how much I've grown as a person, as a player, stuff since then. So really like my time in Knoxville now. It's definitely a second home. I've said before, I definitely did take a bit of time, but really adjusted to life here and I'm loving it.
Jackson, how often are you able to go home, like in the off season, and what's that like, the process of getting there?
Yeah, I mean, it's very like last minute sort of stuff, because obviously our schedule's pretty full on throughout the whole year. So after the bowl game, I get to go home for a little bit, around 15, 16 days. So it's a late book of a flight, figuring out what game we're in and stuff like that. But to get home is awesome. Get to see a few of the guys and reflect on our years that we've had, and also see some guys from back home, just sort of have peace of mind coming back here to get going.
What's it like for friends and family to try to find games on TV over there? Is it on
Yeah.
the internet or?
I was on the phone to Mum last night, and she was telling me that first game's going to be at like 3 a.m. for her, and I was like, "You even going to watch?" And she's like, "Of course." But it's good to have her backing me in. They're coming over this season again, so honestly, first season I got here, I gave out tickets to all my teammates and stuff, but now I'm like trying to get tickets from them, so it's pretty cool to have friends and family coming over from Australia for games.
So your family hadn't been to any games yet since you've been here?
Last season they came to, I think, 4 in the end, so I think this year Mum's doing 5. Even some friends are coming for 3 weeks in a row and stuff during that Alabama, Florida period, so it's going to be awesome.
So what was their impression of SEC football when they got over here?
Yeah, I think all my friends and family had no idea how big it was. Obviously, you can watch it on TV, but once you're actually in that stadium, the environment's like nothing else. I found that out myself when I got here as well. I always thought it's not going to be as big as I think, but it really is, and it's awesome.
How did you describe it to them before they got here? The atmosphere and how many people would be in the stadium?
I mean, I just said it's like an Australian sort of grand final, but every week. You know, there's 100,000 for the biggest game in Australia, but there's 100,000 for the smallest game here. So telling my friends that the smallest crowd I played in front of last year in Knoxville was 101,000 sort of blew their minds a little bit. But yeah, it's cool.
Did it take any convincing for them to believe you that it is like 100,000 every week, regardless of where you are sometimes?
I mean, yeah, I think probably when I do say that, people are like, oh, yeah, cool, I'm sure. But then they actually come and they go, oh, wow, you know, so.
What is the first thing you show them when they visit Knoxville?
First things first is get a coffee down in Old City at my favourite spot, 5 and Hoke. That's where I go most days, but it's the best coffee in Knoxville, so I take them there first, then we go for a little look around. But they just like going to restaurants and stuff like that, seeing what's cool. But obviously campus blew them away as well.
What's that coffee shop again?
5 and Hoke. Very good plug.
Jeremiah's heard the other week said that he punted in high school. Have you had any conversations with him, or has he told you that he's punted in high school?
I mean, there's probably 124 people on this team that did punt in high school, they tell me. I'm yet to see anyone that actually looks capable of doing it. Even James Pearce in walkthroughs, I've got him sort of learn craft and stuff, so he might be our second punter for the season.
So when he says that he was able to punt like 80 yards in high school,
It's a
had
lie.
hang time of like
Yeah, I don't believe it. If he doesn't improve it, I'll believe it, but for now, no.
Couple more.
How much can you really pick up yard when you're doing the rugby kick and there's not anyone in your vicinity? How much can you pick up sort of those hidden yards?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. You got to sort of feel the rush and stuff like that, but I think we had one against South Carolina last year, which evidently got called back for something happened on the line of scrimmage, but that sort of gives me an extra 8 yards, which is you know, you can punt the ball 35 and you still get a 43-yard punt and so. But getting moving is really good to sort of get your hips moving and stuff like that. But every sort of punt's different and has its benefits.
You mentioned how much bigger the stadiums are here, especially at Neyland Stadium. How much more comfortable do you feel in those environments to have a confident punt?
Yeah, I'm extremely confident now. I think I had probably my best game of the year at Alabama last year, so that really gave me confidence going into different stadiums and environments. So,
Thank you, Jackson.